I kept thinking, you know, it's just approaching middle age. I couldn't sit down and watch a TV show or read a book without falling to sleep.
I didn't think of it as brain starvation. I thought of it as loss of energy, loss of older age, not being able to keep up.
The most important part of your body is your brain. A lot of people forget to feed their brain.
Actually, I went to a doctor and said, I'm tired all the time, I can't concentrate, I'm forgetting words. And he told me this was normal, that this was aging, and that I should just get used to it.
When a 7-year-old is concerned about his acceptance in class and feeling good about himself and not having any friends and being separated from his friends at the lunchroom, that to me is more of a concern than just being, you know, an active young boy.
There's so many things about the brain that we don't understand.
It's very important that you feed your brain. This is the thing that's going to carry you through the next 50 or 60 years.
Welcome to the Vital Basics Health Show. These people and millions just like them have made a shocking discovery. Despite the abundance of food in this country, despite the fitness craze, people still feel tired and mentally drained. Several months ago on this program, we interviewed a leading expert in nutrition who was generating controversy with his assertion that there's a nationwide epidemic called brain starvation that affects men, women, and children alike in this country. According to Dr. Kyle Smith, memory loss, poor concentration, mood swings, and fatigue are causing a dangerous drop in effectiveness in the workplace and a higher level of tension and even anger in the home. He also introduced a new dietary supplement called Focus Factor that helps people with these everyday problems. Dr. Smith, welcome to the program again.
Thank you, Bill. Again, I'm very glad to be here.
What is brain starvation and what are the signs that we might have it?
Brain starvation basically occurs to all of us, I believe, on a daily basis when we fail to consume the nutrients that our brain needs for optimal function. Now, the way we feel when this occurs is we feel sluggish and lethargic. The problem is that if we were organically farming in our backyard, the fruits and the vegetables and growing poultry and cattle like they did in the early 1900s in their backyard at the farm, and we were producing the grain products ourselves, we're taking the raw wheat, grinding it up and making bread, we would have all the nutrients we needed from our diet.
We'd be okay.
But we don't live that way anymore. The way we live is we go to the supermarket and we buy processed foods. The processed grain examples that we use where literally the magnesium, the vitamin B6 and other neurofactors have been removed from the grain and not added back after processing.
Right.
Now here's another key. We humans have been manipulating our brain for years, our whole lives, to try to change how we feel. Good example is chocolate. Caffeinated beverages, even candies and sugar, will alter brain chemistry and enhance neurotransmitters. The problem is they do it artificially.
It's not just you know, Dr. Smith saying this. This is being widely reported in the mainstream press. First one, pain and fatigue are the two most common health-related problems that cause people to seek help from their health practitioners. Words they use to describe their condition include exhaustion, lethargy, inability to sleep at night, combined with inability to stay awake during the day.
Bad combination.
Another one, this was a headline in USA Today. It was a cover story on it. Our lives are all crumpled up with stress, multitasking, high expectations, lack of manners. Now we're amid a new epidemic of anger, sometimes deadly anger. Now that we know that this is a serious problem, tell us, what is Focus Factor and what does it do?
Focus Factor fills that huge gap of nutrients that's missing in every one of our diets. In other words, it helps to ensure that we consume the nutrients we need every day for healthy and optimal function for both the brain and the body. But Focus Factor actually goes one step beyond that. Focus Factor fills the gap with nutrients that have been shown in science to be some of the best quality, both natural ingredients, ingredients that have a high absorption to the human body. This is very important. If we want to make an impact on our health, we need to consume natural ingredients and ingredients that are very absorbable to the body.
Recently, we took our cameras out across the country. We went from the East Coast to the West Coast and back again to find out how brain starvation affects people on a day-to-day basis and how Focus Factor helps them get back to a normal, productive lifestyle. Our first stop was Cleveland, Ohio, and this highlights the fact that Focus Factor really is a supplement for the whole family. Tom Newton is the Midwest Regional Promotions Manager for Elektra Records. His wife, Karen, is a medical transcriptionist, and they have two school-age daughters, Katie and Jackie.
One of the things that really brought it home for me was my boss called me out on a conference call and asked me a question. It was a simple question, and I wasn't paying attention. And you know, in front of all your peers, you're like, what was the question? And you just kind of see your career slowly slipping away.
I'd find myself dozing off at the movie theater because I was tired. But I just thought, I have too much on my plate. I need more help at home. And I'd be just yelling at the kids, they need to help me more, and he needs to help me. And so yeah, I was just running on empty for a couple of years there. One morning I just woke up and literally I felt good, and I thought, this has got to be focus factor working.
Do you ever notice the difference in your mood from a Monday morning to a Friday afternoon? Well, I remember distinctly the first time I took it because it was a Monday morning. I remember taking the focus factor, doing my shower and all that, and then when I actually got to my office, it was like, right, I felt like Friday afternoon for some reason. I couldn't figure that out. But that was the beginning, and that's the kind of feeling I had, and I continue to have.
You're in a better mood, you have more enthusiasm, you have more patience. It just gets the cobwebs out, and you make the most of your day.
When I'm on the soccer field and taking focus factor, I feel more confident and alert and energetic.
I have to get up and go to school every day. I have homework every day. I work almost every day. And focus factor just gives me enough energy to go on and live my life, like with a little bit more energy and not as tired as I used to be.
You know, one of the real tests of a product is how quickly the word gets around about it. If everybody's talking about something, it must be pretty good. And by all accounts, a lot of people are talking about focus factor, as in this next example. Lois Miller is a professional real estate broker in Maryland, and she was feeling the effects of brain starvation. Focus factor worked so well for her that she immediately gave some to her nieces.
My ability to concentrate was non-existent, practically non-existent. My focus was just horrible. I was in a very bad mood, and my energy level was drained. I was seriously considering retiring.
It's frustrating to not be able to take charge of how I feel. For example, late in the afternoon when I don't feel like doing my work. I fought through it, I worked through it, but in hindsight, it's frustrating because I wasted so much time.
I was having a real problem with my energy level. Coming up on my 43rd birthday, I just figured I'm getting old. I can't keep this pace up anymore.
I heard about focus factor on coast-to-coast radio. And it was like I say, I was in my bed that morning. I was so tired. I was thinking of not going to work, and I heard about focus factor, and I said, I think I just have to order that.
As a family, we exercise together a tremendous amount. We walk the dogs, we run together, we perform all kinds of outdoor activities, and focus factor has been incorporated into that very busy, active life.
One of the things you do when you are not able to focus is usually stop and grab a snack or something to keep your energy level up. And a side result is that I'm finding it very easy to maintain not eating the office snacks and thereby keeping my weight off.
Since taking focus factor, my memory is better, my concentration is better, my energy level is better, my ability to cope is better, my ability to endure, my endurance is better.
By the end of the week, I think you, as well as those around you, would notice that you can concentrate more, you can block things that would otherwise be distracting out. Impediments that kept you from performing efficiently are gone because you somehow find the ability to focus on what you're doing, and your attention to detail will improve dramatically.
Of what I know, 3 different people, my aunt and my cousin and myself, have tried it with 3 totally different body chemistries and have all in our own way had very successful results.
Can you talk a little bit about what's happening in the brain in terms of when we have when our brain's working at full capacity and then when it's starving, as you say?
The best way we can do this is to actually take a look inside the brain. As you travel inside the brain, you'll notice that Tiny telephone lines called neurons carry nerve impulses. However, something unique happens. No two neurons actually connect to each other. They're separated by a gap called the synapse. Now, the way the brain actually makes a connection is it makes a chemical connection with what's called a neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitters are formed from the nutrients that we consume from the foods that we eat. So in our comparison of two neurons, you'll see on the left side we have low production of neurotransmitters, and on the right side we have high production of neurotransmitters. This correlates, quite frankly, into how you feel. When production of neurotransmitters is high, you have a great day. You feel like you can focus and concentrate on demand.
Folks, if you would like more information about Focus Factor, if you or your kids need help with focus, concentration, memory, energy, or mood swings, please call the number at the bottom of your screen. And thanks to a special arrangement with Dr. Kyle Smith, you can now get on a 30-day risk-free trial. Mention the Vital Basics Health Program, and when you order, you can even get a 30-day supply absolutely free. And we have a special bonus that we did not have available the last time we had Dr. Smith on this program. He has produced a special video that explains more about Focus Factor. This is such a remarkable dietary supplement, and it's so different from anything else out there. This video explains how to take it properly, more information about the ingredients, and fascinating information on how it literally energizes your brain. This video is free with your order. Remember that there are two formulas. There are berry-flavored chewables for your children and the easy-to-swallow tablets for adults. And right now, we're going to find out a little more about brain starvation in very simple, everyday terms through the foods that we're eating here. And Dr. Smith, you have some surprises in store for us.
All of this food is displayed here to make a very important point. We cannot assume today that we receive all the nutrients we need from our diet for optimal brain function, for us to feel at our very best. Let's start out with breakfast.
Sure.
Because of the way grain products are refined today, in the milling process from the grain to the refined flour, we can lose up to 90% of some nutrients.
Really?
Now, let me show you what that means to us. Yeah. If you start out with simple toast for breakfast, you're going to have to eat 10 slices to make up for the loss of nutrition in your 1 or 2 slices. You can find this referenced in government studies, so it's valid information. Speaking of grain products, if we're looking at cereal, and I love cereal myself, you'd have to eat 10 servings to make up for the nutrient losses in that cereal.
Wow.
Now let's take our example to lunch. Using the same information, there are nutrient losses in the luncheon meat and in the vegetables, as we're going to see. You'd have to make 3 triple-decker sandwiches to make up for the nutrient losses in those foods.
That's just incredible.
Now this is real information, and it's not exaggerated. Notice we don't have junk food up here. We don't have fast food. These are real foods.
Yeah, these look like wholesome foods like we're supposed to eat every day.
Exactly. Let me give you a real strong example, as if these weren't strong already. In the case of broccoli, asparagus, and green beans, the American Medical Association Council on Food and Nutrition, they state that nutrient losses can be so severe in vegetables that by the time they get from the farm to the green grocer, they can lose up to 90% of some nutrients. These are all what we call fresh vegetables. In the case of canned peas, you can lose up to 75% of vitamin B5 and B6, which are both neuronutrients, nutrients the brain uses. Let's bring it to dinner. Taking all this information we put together, you're going to have to eat 5 servings of tomato sauce to make up for that loss. And then we're back to our grain example, 10 servings of the pasta. Because of food storage and food processing, there are losses of nutrients. And if you don't make up for that by taking a good quality nutritional supplement like Focus Factor, you're going to suffer.
Okay, and folks, think about that and think about your own diet. You know, chances are you're not eating this healthy. Chances are you are sneaking in a lot of junk food, fast food, that kind of thing. So Focus Factor becomes really an essential supplement. I want to introduce to you right now a professional race car driver named Anthony Lazzaro. Anthony's on the Le Mans series, which are races that last anywhere from 3 hours to 24 hours. And in his profession, his mind, his brain is literally going at 180 miles per hour. So you can really imagine how focused and alert his brain has to be and how he has to be. Now, we caught up with him at a race in Sebring, Florida, and here's what he says about Focus Factor.
My career has been very, very good so far. I've won numerous championships in open wheel cars. I've won races in sports cars. To get the pole positions, to get the fastest race laps, to get the race wins, you need that edge, and with Focus Factor, I have that edge. We're traveling 180 miles an hour. We're making split-second decisions. Your reaction times are everything. And if you're not at the top of your game, and if you're not really alert and mentally prepared for what you're about to do, you can get in big trouble. Right now, I'm taking Focus Factor about 30, 45 minutes before I get in the car. It's part of my daily routine. A lot of people watch their diets, they watch what they eat, they work out, and they have these different activities that they do for their body, but a lot of people forget about the brain. And Focus Factor is brain food. It's what your brain needs to think more clearly. Your brain's telling your body what kind of energy level you're going to have. Focus Factor helps that. The results speak for themselves.
So another incredible story, and here's what I'm thinking with Anthony's story, is that if Focus Factor works for someone like him,
Right.
who is under incredible pressure, I mean, he's going nearly 200 miles an hour. I mean, that's his job.
Right.
He drives almost 200 miles an hour for a living.
Right.
I can only imagine what it would do for the rest of us who aren't perhaps under that kind of pressure all the time.
Anthony Lazzaro takes Focus Factor to extremes we'll never have in our life.
Al Dimitri lives in Florida, and he plays golf almost every day. He has a tremendous golf swing, and take a look at this.
I had friends that come down from up north from Ohio down here to Florida on vacation, and you'd stand there and you couldn't maybe remember his first name, and here he was a chumming buddy all the way through high school, you know. And then once I started taking Focus Factor, I noticed that names were easier. By me taking the Focus Factor, I don't walk into a room and forget what I was going into the room for. And I had problems before. I concentrate more on cars where I'm a better and safer driver. The word focus for golf is important as it is for anything. And when I heard the word Focus Factor on the radio, it seemed like that would be something I would like to try. Putting is tremendous now. My drives are going almost 30 yards farther, and there's not a member that I don't play with, and I play with over 100 here, that can't vouch for that. Man, that was a good one. Focus Factor has done tremendous stuff for me. I mean, just generally, I don't know how to put it. You know, I'm happy. Sometimes I just get, you ever got so happy you get lost for words?
We spoke with Suzette O'Neill in San Diego, California. Suzette has a young son named Eric who is really having a tough time focusing and staying on task. She says it was really a challenge for her and her husband, but because of Focus Factor, there's a happy ending.
We have a lot of different things that we do in our lives that we take pride in, and one of those things are our children. To me, there's nothing I wouldn't do for my kids. I want them to have every advantage that they can possibly have. Prior to him taking the product, the other kids made fun of him. That really made him feel like he wasn't good enough. But since he started taking that, now he can concentrate, he has confidence, he's able to do the work, you know, he's able to learn. That's something that I really feel good about because I didn't think that he could do it before. Really, you have to decide on what would you do to give your kid a better chance, better confidence, and better ability. It took a frustrated family, mother and father, and you know, now we are just so happy. It's like, you know, the burden's off our back now. So we have been telling everybody about Focus Factor, and I hope that other people use it because it will make a difference in your life and in your child's life.
Folks, I urge you to call right now and take advantage of Dr. Kyle Smith's special offer on Focus Factor. You can get a 30-day supply today with your order absolutely free. And if you call right now, you'll also get his new video. It explains more about Focus Factor, how to take it for best results, information about the ingredients, and additional ways you can get the most out of your brain to improve focus, memory, mood, concentration, and energy. There's a formula for kids and one for adults. And I really want to stress here that if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting the same results. But this is your chance to do something different, to get your life back on track at work. This is also for your kids to help them build brighter minds. And to our friends watching right now who are seniors, this can improve your quality of life so dramatically. So call now and try Focus Factor. It's guaranteed safe and effective or your money back. And be sure to ask about that special offer. If the line's busy, keep trying, but do make that call. Dr. Smith, for viewers who are just tuning in, can you briefly explain again What is Focus Factor and what's it going to do for us?
Focus factor is basically nourishment for our brain, and what it does is it provides the nutritional factors that our brain needs to produce mental energy and neurotransmitters. Now, what this means to us is Focus Factor essentially supports optimal focus, concentration, and memory in adults, teens, and seniors.
And again, this is natural.
This is a natural product, yes.
I want you to meet one more Focus Factor success story. This is Barbara Clementi. She lives in Maryland, and she's a healthcare consultant and also works with her husband in his accounting practice.
It was a very frustrating, hopeless situation because I was in constant pursuit of trying to solve this problem, trying to figure out why I was tired, why I couldn't concentrate, why I couldn't get more things done during the day. At that point in time, I was under the impression that I was just getting older, and this was the way it was to be. Although we did try every vitamin on the shelf. We pillaged the health food stores. I had yellow stickies everywhere, on cabinets in the kitchen, all over my desk, on the mirror in my bathroom. I mean, it was just how I was going to get through, was to post up what it was I was supposed to do or what I needed to remember. On a scale of 1 to 10, Focus Factors helped me at 15. I have energy, I can concentrate, I can do multiple things at the same time and not get confused. I never forget words anymore. The changes are amazing. We get to spend more time now with our grandchildren as well as with the rest of the family because we're not so tired. I'm not so afraid of getting older now that I have the Focus Factor because the decline was so great in terms of energy and memory that I thought, you know, surely within a couple of years I will not remember anything and be sitting in this chair and just sitting here. But now, I mean, the energy is back, the ability to go out and do things, stay up, to keep all these balls in the air at the same time.
If you have a child who has trouble focusing and concentrating, and you know that they're bright, intelligent kids, I want you to meet Cheryl Lee. During our road trip, we went through Texas and visited Cheryl at her home, and we were very moved by her story. Her son's name is Blake, and he was having a lot of difficulty, even at home. And listen to Cheryl and see if you can relate to her frustration.
It's a tremendous amount of strain and pressure, and just the guilt alone, as I mentioned earlier, can put a lot of stress on any kind of family. And it wasn't just the school. I mean, we couldn't go anywhere as a family. We didn't want to get sitters for him. We didn't want to go anywhere. We didn't want to go on any family vacations because we were not sure at any point in time how Blake was going to react or respond to certain kind of other situations. So it really imprisons the strong word, but it really imprisons your family until you understand what it is you're dealing with. Focus Factor is a part of our family now because it has transformed my family into an environment that is joyful and peaceful and productive and smiling. About the week or 10 days into Blake taking Focus Factor, he came home from school and he had a really good day at school. He talked about his friends, he talked about feeling like he belonged, getting asked to play on certain sports at school, and that's when I knew we had our son back and his life was changed. He went from saying, I have no friends, I don't want to go back to school, I don't even know why you have a son like me, to, gosh, Mom, all the kids at school picked me first today, and I had so much fun today, and I got to sit with all my friends at the lunch table. I could just tell you that those are words of joy to a mother.
I feel very happy, and I just think I'm a good boy and I'm a smart boy.
You always want to believe in miracles, but you never really know. I mean, and I use the word miracle, and I mean that. I really had never believed that something so miraculous could happen so quickly. I didn't believe that there was something out there that could make such dramatic changes in Blake and in our lives. My son has been given the second chance. I feel like my prayers have been answered.
That is a tremendous story. And you know what I noticed about that? You know, Blake is such a cute kid, but when you look into his eyes, you can really see he's energetic, he's really focused now, and most importantly when it comes to kids, he's really happy. So this really does help people all across the spectrum. Kids,
Absolutely.
men, women, baby boomers certainly,
Right.
who are starting to feel the effects of getting older, and seniors at that end of the spectrum.
Everyone benefits when they feed their brain.
And you have made an impact in my life as well. And I want to talk about that a little bit because in our last program, folks, if you saw it, I told a story about this great big thick book that I picked up and read.
You did.
As I was taking Focus Factor. Yes. It was about the American Revolution, and I was able to remember all kinds of things. Well, I'll tell you what, let's roll the clip. I started reading this 400-page book, very dense, very dry, and what I found was I'm remembering everything virtually in this book. I am remembering the names of British lords and generals and dukes and battle sites and chains of events that happened. This book literally came alive to me not only as I was reading it, but after. My comprehension was extraordinary. And I have to say, since that program aired, things just seem to get better and better and better. It's sort of a cumulative effect.
Wonderful.
A couple things that I noticed. First of all, my memory just seems to keep getting better. And just a very small example is I was listening to talk radio the other day,
Right.
and someone mentioned a web address,
Right.
an internet address, one time. I got into work the next morning, opened my computer, and I knew that web address absolutely.
Bam,
it was just right there. So
Right.
one thing I can do is I can visualize things better, which helps me to remember. And the second big thing is multitasking. In the past, when I would get all kinds of different projects thrown at me at once, I would panic because it just seems so overwhelming.
Right.
Since taking Focus Factor, what I find is I can more calmly prioritize things.
Right.
I can focus on each task better, which means I get it done more quickly, generally, and I can just get the projects done faster. And so that just eases all of that stress that normally would have come down on me.
That's great.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming back on the program today and allowing us to share these dramatic stories with you.
I thank you, and I thank you for sharing your story.
And folks, we're simply out of time. If you'd like more information about trying Focus Factor for yourself, it's a 30-day risk-free trial. If you or your kids need help with focus, concentration, memory, energy, or mood swings, please call the number at the bottom of your screen right now. Focus Factor's unique and natural blend of vitamins, minerals, botanicals, and special cutting-edge nutrients help to energize and revitalize tired brain cells. Let's go inside the brain to show you what happens. These are brain cells that need to be energized to keep you mentally sharp. And these pulses of neurotransmitters are what feed the cells their energy. On the left is sluggish neurotransmitter activity, and on the right is energized activity. As you heard Dr. Smith say, when you feed your brain the right nutrients, you naturally energize it. Focus Factor feeds your brain, and the 5 benefits most often reported are better focus, memory, mood, concentration, and energy. You'll feel refreshed, mentally sharp, alert, focused, and energetic, and that's guaranteed or you get your money back. So call now and be sure to ask about the doctor's special offer. If the line's busy, please keep trying, but do make that phone call. Thanks for watching the Vital Basics Health program. I'm Bill Begley. Take good care of yourself, and God bless.